Okay, hi guys, welcome to Success Sports YouTube channel and congratulations on finishing CLAT 2021. I'm Tanisha, I'm from MNLU Mumbai and I'm the operational manager at Success Sport.
And I'm Shubh Kansal. I'm also from MNLU and I'm also operational manager at Success Board.
So today's paper was on the easy to moderate side and we'll tell you why by covering each section. We'll analyze the paper in general and talk about what came, what was expected and not expected. So firstly, starting with English. Now, in general, if you look at the paper, the passages were lengthy. However, in English, I feel that was the easiest section because you didn't require a lot of brainstorming. The passages were very easy to comprehend. Most of the questions you got were fact-based questions based on the information given in the passage. You did not have that many inference-based questions, which you would expect in a difficult English language section. So also there were a lot of questions of vocabulary. So I think that goes to show that CLAT is obviously focusing on your reading skills and how well you're comprehending, as well as your vocabulary, and as well the questions in vocabulary were not the kind of words which you would have to know if you're a complete English nerd. So they were common words which you could find in a normal newspaper or editorials. Difficulty level would be easy to moderate. Moderate given the length of the passages. A good number of attempts would be 20 to 30. I feel this is the easiest section of all because there were less chances of you losing marks in negative marking if you were good enough to pay attention to detail. So yeah, this was a good enough passage. Moving on to
GK.
yeah.
So GK had 7 passages and each passage contained 5 questions. GK was very factual and conceptual, a mix of both. We can say from the previous paper, if we analyze it, if we compare it, this time the factual questions were relevant to the topic. They were not haywire or just random questions, but they were related to the topic and they were nice questions. But as CLAT is slightly unpredictable, so there were several passages, they were offbeat, a slight offbeat. So the first passage was about the wetlands, the Ramsar convention and all. It had one weird question according to me, the tough, if I say weird question, so it's the tough question. Question number 35 was a little tough question and you could have dealt with if you have done it deeply or studied deeply. The second passage dealt with Chabahar port and India-Iran relations. Okay, it was a slightly tricky passage. The conceptual clarity you needed in this was way higher than the other passages. It could have been dealt with easily, but it was a slightly tricky passage. That's why it's moderate. Then Gandhi Peace Prize and in India-Bangladesh relations, it was a very easy set. One offbeat question was there. Okay, one tough question. So this is the pattern. They are giving you the passage and they are including one tough question, one tough conceptual question. So it will help the person or the candidate that has learned GK or dealt with GK in depth. It has understood GK in clarity, so it will help that particular candidate more. Okay, the fourth LSA issue, it was much in news and you should have known about it. The China border issue, it was a very easy topic as well, but again one tough question pertaining to the conceptual clarity. At Fezans, as Fezan sir points out, that you should have conceptual clarity for the topic, so it needed that one question pertaining to it. Then two slightly offbeat topics, World Water Day and Faith for Rights. In both of them they were very one liner type of passages. The information asked in the passages were very one liner types. You could have dealt with even if you didn't know the passage itself. So the questions were not pertaining to the passage, but they were kind of one liners. Okay, so the World Water Day was a moderate. It was slightly tricky because it was slightly offbeat. Same for Faith for Rights, but you could have dealt with if you have done even a scarce study of these topics, because they were very straight and straightforward and they were very factual in nature. There was no conceptual clarity needed. And the last topic, pertaining to vaccines, it was really easy and you should have known all the answers because vaccines have been all in news time and again. So it was a very easy passage. According to me, GK was a very highly scoring section. many of you are saying that GK was tough. It wasn't tough if we compare it to the last year. And I think GK will be the make or break section this time with maths. Ideal attempts would be 28 to 30. Over to you, Tanisha.
So along with GK, legal is also one section which was a dicey section in the sense that passages were very lengthy. I think that is one reason why a lot of people felt the paper was lengthy, and legal might be that section which took a lot of your time. Very important to understand over here that usually you see in CLAT in the past few years, they've always asked a lot of questions on contracts, constitutional, and torts. And then even in this year, you could see out of the 8 passages, there were 3 mainly on contract law. A lot of the questions are application based, so they had given the passage and you had to apply it to the fact based situations they gave you. So, but one thing it's important to understand that all of the concepts they asked, whether it was res judicata or voluntary non-fit injuria, these were very easy to understand. It was not that difficult. So even if you knew about res judicata from your own reading or your own studies, you would obviously be able to answer it better. Passages were easy to understand. I think that it was lengthy, but the questions were very easy. So I think that was a good thing. Difficulty level would be moderate, and a good number of attempts would be 32 to 36. So it's very important that you should not lose marks to negative marking over here, because some of the options were a little dicey that you had to, a little confusing. But yeah, this was a good enough section. So looking at logic now, uh, again, lengthier passages. One passage I found, which was on the economy and unemployment crisis, that was a little difficult because there were all these facts and figures put into it. So it didn't look like a logical reasoning passage. It looked more of an RC passage. A lot of questions on inference based. Most important thing, very unexpected that there was no analytical reasoning this year. So that was shocking to a lot of people. So those of, I think for everyone, AR is that one topic in the entire paper that you find that it's very easy to do. So that was something which is unexpected and unpredictable. But I mean, we all know that CLAT is always unpredictable, is always unexpected, throwing googlies at you. So I guess, yeah, that was one thing. For logical reasoning, it's important that you have a good eye for attention to detail. You have to be, very actively reading. Obviously, within that passage, so over around 500 words, even more than that, you had to make sure that you were reading everything correctly so that you could make the right inferences. So yes, that is one thing. Again, it's a time consuming section. Difficulty level, however, was easy to moderate because the questions, apart from a few questions, most of them are pretty straightforward and easy to understand. So attempts would be around 25 to 28. And over to you, Shubh, for Quant.
Quant was a scoring section, but if you had time, so that's why it's thoda risky to do quant in this paper, because the paper was lengthy but easy. But in quant, only the first set was easy, and the other two required intensive calculation on the spot. You need to be very fast calculating everything. And according to me, in that time pressure, and the paper was very lengthy, as much of like many of the aspirants have told us. So according to me, quant is the next make or break section after GK is the make or break section, and after that, if you need some brownie or bonus point, you had to attempt quant. First passage could have been dealt very easily. It was very easy, straight away answers you could have found very easily. Second and third required intensive calculations as well as intensive understanding of the topics as well as caselets. So one of the drawbacks of this year quant is there were no pie charts or graphs. There were only caselets, 3 caselets, 15 questions. So according to me, you should have done the first set, gain 5 marks straight away, and could have selectively chosen 2 to 3 questions per set in the second and third set and gain your, let's say, 4 or 5 marks, and straight away 10 marks boost. So you could have gone like that in quant. So now we'll conclude the session. Now in this, there were the we will analyze the paper as whole. 150 questions. There were very lengthy passages compared to the last time, but the trick here is the questions were easy, so it balances it out. Okay, you need a great reading speed, but the questions were easy, so it's a double whammy, but you could have dealt with, right? Now the reading skills matter. You can't read it again and again. If you read it once, you need to get the answer, because if you reread the passage again, because it's a very lengthy passage, you will lose a lot of time. So you had to read it once, but with clarity, and just get done with the question. It was very easy to understand if we let alone two or three passages, let's say that economy one, or one in CR, or one in English. They were very easy to understand. You must have seen those passages somewhere or the other, but that's what, they were lengthy. So you had to comprehend a large chunk of data. Okay. And then no AR, it was very unpredictable. According to us, there could have been one data arrangement, or one set of Silog or anything. There was no AR altogether. It added to the pressure, because AR is all of our sweet spot and we gain marks in that. But CR can be sometimes dicey. So I don't know. And practice under time constraint, that was the key, because this paper really tested you. It was lengthy yet easy. There were hiccups in between. There were no AR. GK was thoda, and then Quant was moderate. It wasn't easy. So what we were expecting, that Quant will be easy, it will be a sail through. It wasn't like that. It was easy to moderate. You had to attempt more, because the quality of questions were easy. Those who have a great reading speed, or who can read 4 to 500 words per minute, would have done the paper 15 to 10 minutes early. It was that kind of paper. So you needed a great reading speed accompanied with the ability to comprehend. Easier said than done, but attempts, according to me, will be 125 to 130 ideal number of attempts, and we will be releasing the cutoff very soon. Stay tuned.
Okay, guys. So yeah, stay tuned to our content, and as well that we both wrote CLAT 2020, so we do understand that, and we've compared this year's paper to our own experience. But yeah, please don't be doing motivated. Wait for the cutoffs to release by the consortium, and then check out your rankings. So all the best, and thank you so much.
All the best.